you see iliac crest, you see pubic bone, and you see the spines. We cover it in a general way, in a very intelligent, practical way. We don't go into details. What we care about is something like, is the external oblique muscle attached to the thoracolumbar fascia or not? Like this. We don't go into details here. Exams address it like this. Practice addresses it like this. So we'll be general here, but careful and general at the same time. Costal margin, as you can see, rib number 10 to rib number 7. The costal margin is made by the costal cartilage. Here there are no costal cartilage to fill it. It's an imaginary line, and then bone, the spine, then the iliac crest, then the pubic bone. The pubic bone, the most important feature in the pubic bone is this feature, pubic crest and pubic tubercle. Pubic tubercle will be the attachment for the inguinal ligament. This is here, the anterior superior iliac spine, and this is here the pubic tubercle. Here is the inguinal ligament. The crest is for just something called conjoined tendon. You'll see this. The crest for conjoined tendon. And behind the crest, behind the conjoined tendon, there is something called pyramidalis, and after that rectus. You can say it is like CPR. CPR, meaning that conjoined tendon, pyramidalis if present, and a muscle called rectus. So 3 things I'm looking for here. Costal margin, spine, and the hip bone. Crest, ending in anterior superior spine, anterior superior iliac spine, and another crest ending laterally in pubic tubercle. Here is costal margin, but I got it in a coronal section to show that the master muscle of the anterior abdominal wall, which is internal oblique, is attached to its margin. This is the margin, and the internal oblique is attached to it exactly like this. If I find a muscle attached to the inside of the margin, it is transversus abdominis. If I find a muscle going here outside it, it is external oblique. If I am walking on Valley Street and I found a costal margin and I found fibers coming from its external side, if I know it is external oblique. If it is coming edge from it, it is internal oblique. If it is coming from its inside, it is transversus. So important practically. Nothing will be as smart as that. Internal oblique is the master muscle of the whole abdominal wall. This is why internal oblique will be attached to this margin, and all of these up until the first rib, the chest wall. The chest wall, did we study chest at all? We didn't take chest. Good. The chest wall, between these ribs, there are muscles called intercostals. They are innermost, they are internal and external. The three of them, 1, 2, 3, innermost, internal, external, plus the ribs, they correspond to one muscle called internal oblique in the abdomen. They are stupid. And let me, if there is recording here, there are stupid books and unwary teachers who say that the external oblique is correspondent to the external intercostal. This is wrong. External oblique is external oblique outside this realm. Are you following me? So external oblique does not correspond to the external intercostal, which is here. External intercostal, internal intercostal, innermost intercostal, and the ribs correspond to internal oblique, the master muscle of the abdomen. External oblique, you know this, how external oblique is going. This way, do you know it? The fibers, please look at me. Here is the chest, and the fibers are going this way, as if I'm going to put my hand in my pocket. The fibers are going down. Okay? The fibers of internal oblique are going up this way, perpendicular. You following? Internal oblique, always I like to simulate it to this. It is attached to this crest. Going from this crest, always I like to simulate it to this, like a sun. You know sun? Somebody who is free can stand up. Can you stand up, please? Internal oblique, I'll put it here like a sun, like this. Not even fibers which are parallel to each other are perpendicular to the external. External, yes, they are. Most of them are going down like this. So these are going up, yes, perpendicular to the muscles going down like that. But the muscles which are lower here, they are arching. And the muscles which are back here, you see my hand, are vertical. While these muscles, they are oblique. So the really oblique fibers of the internal oblique, the master muscle, they are in the middle. Following?
Yeah.
So the most inferior muscles are arching. The most inferior muscle are arching. And the most posterior muscle are vertical. The real oblique are in the middle. The real oblique are in the middle. Internal oblique corresponds to the ribs and whatever between the ribs. External oblique never corresponds to external intercostal. So, what's the name of this muscle? Transversus abdominis. And it is arising from the inside of the costal margin. What's the name of this muscle? External oblique. What's the name of this muscle? The master muscle of the anterior abdominal wall. Only the middle part of it is oblique, of the internal oblique. And the most inferior is arching, and the most posterior is vertical. I call it the sun. زي ما يكون sunrise or sunset. We'll call it sunrise to be hopeful. You got that? Internal obliques attached to the edge. I don't need it. Here is the spine. Very fast. This is superficial layer of deep fascia. Deep fascia of the back is complex, but beautiful. Deep fascia of the back, we divide it into superficial deep fascia and deep fascia. Are you following? So the deep fascia of the back is divided into, forget about it. Just the deep fascia is complex. And when we deal with the attachment of internal oblique and transversus abdominis in the back area, they are attached to a fascia here called thoracolumbar fascia. External oblique never touch this fascia. So external oblique in the back has a free edge, while the others, the transversus abdominis and the the internal oblique and transversus abdominis, they get attachment to the fascia here. We'll see it in a second. Let me draw it very fast. Look at this. These are the three layers of the deep fascia of the back. Of the deep fascia. Three layers of the deep fascia of the back. They constitute the thoracolumbar fascia. So what's thoracolumbar fascia? It's the deep layer of fascia. Are you following? Are you following? Yes. And it is divided into three lamellae. They unite laterally to form one lamella, strong lamella. The strong lamella will give attachment to internal oblique and transversus abdominis in the back. To attach indirectly the transversus and the internal oblique to the spine. Are they any muscles? Transversus abdominis and internal, they are not any muscles. The master muscle is internal. Transversus is the second behind it, immediately helping it. When I am carrying something, 400 kilos, the two muscles contract. They need a very strong lamella to attach them to the spine. External oblique is a relaxed muscle. Very relaxed. What external oblique, to tell you, does is like this. Nobody would show it to you except here. This is external oblique going like this. External oblique going like that. What did I say about internal oblique? I simulated to the sun. A sun is here. External oblique from the other side like this. And they meet in the middle. When I need to twist my trunk to the right, who is going to contract? The master or the follower?
The master.
The master. And the follower is just following, but getting tense, getting with it, the ribs. So the master is resting on a heavy muscle called hip bone, while the follower is resting on some sort of things called ribs. I can buy a rib for a 5 riyal and eat some meat. And here is internal oblique. From the other side, when I need to get the trunk to the left side. So, when in the exam, you see how? When in the exam, then the question comes on contraction of the right internal oblique. The right internal oblique. Where does the trunk go? To the right or to the left?
Right.
To the right. So, and when I contract the left external oblique with the right internal oblique, where is the trunk going? Right also. Beautiful. Simultaneous contraction. Simultaneous contraction of left external oblique and right external oblique will bring the trunk to the right side. Question. Smart, not dumb. Knowing that internal oblique is a master muscle and external oblique is a follower muscle. Internal oblique, and this is transversus abdominis. Transversus internal, they will meet together. This is aponeurosis. The aponeurosis of the internal will divide into two lamellae, anterior and posterior. The anterior and the posterior lamellae will unite in the middle and they will join the aponeurosis of the transversus. External oblique and the aponeurosis will join the middle here, in the midline, the aponeurosis of the internal and external, to form for me the linea alba and the rectus sheath, anterior rectus sheath, posterior rectus sheath. sheath محفظة وأحط فيها الفلوس محفظة. And I put in it the vertical muscle because I need a vertical muscle to give me the first 30 degrees of sitting up from a supine position. No other muscle will give me the first 30 degrees except this. If I cut your rectus abdominis, you will not at all, at 0, from supine to 30, no other muscle does this. If I cut this, you are not a gymnast. Forget it. Here we are. This is here. Transversus abdominis, internal oblique, external oblique. Lamellae of them, the lamella, aponeurosis. Aponeurosis. This is aponeurosis. Muscle, aponeurosis. Muscle, aponeurosis. Aponeurosis is a flattened tendon. If I take the tendon of Achilles and I flattened it, it will be aponeurosis. Then the aponeurosis of the internal oblique will divide into two, anterior and posterior. The aponeurosis of external oblique doesn't need to divide, nor does that of the transversus. This is how things are formed. This is here the free edge of external oblique. So the posterior edge of transversus abdominis and the posterior edge of internal oblique, the master muscle of the anteroabdominal wall, both of them are connected indirectly to the spine through the thoracolumbar fascia, and they are connected there because they are strong muscles. I need them when I'm carrying something heavy. We carry things by our back. We carry things by the master muscle of the abdomen and its follower. How about external oblique? It's a very, very, very light player. This is why it's not connected. This is why I have a free margin here. And in the MCQs, USMLE, whatever batikh, it comes like this. External oblique is attached to the thoracolumbar fascia. True or false? False. Immediately. It's a light player. You agree? So this is here internal oblique attached to the thoracolumbar fascia. And you'll see, look at the sun. Look at the sun. I said it's a sun, so it must be a sun. Don't laugh. I'm not. You are recording. If I say words, it will be recorded. Okay. Good. Okay. Here is our bone, the second station. Our sun is arising exactly from the crest and from the thoracolumbar fascia. Heavy bone and heavy muscle, heavy fascia. Thank you. Here is something unique and delicate, very delicate. This is why it will be for the hernia and this very delicate work. We have the crest, we have pubic tubercle. And I will say it twice, and it should come in the exam. The pubic crest ends laterally in the pubic tubercle. The pubic crest medially ends to the symphysis pubis. The pubic crest ends laterally in the pubic tubercle. So the pubic tubercle is part of the crest, but they are two entities. So as an extension, لما يكون واحد باني بناية, I build something and there is a crest ending in a tubercle. Are you following? Subhanallah. He built it like this for a reason. Crest. On the crest. Crest. And careful. I repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until it becomes second habit in your mind. Pubic crest for CPR. Pubic crest for CPR. CPR مهم. لما يكون واحد CPR. What's CPR? Conjoint tendon, pyramidalis, and rectus. In succession, from anterior to posterior. زي اسمك. Crest. Don't think that there is something from external oblique on it. Conjoint tendon belongs to internus and transversus. Don't think that external oblique will occupy this at all. If external oblique is here, we will not have babies. As simple as that. The spermatic cord cannot come out of the anterior abdominal wall if this is closed. If the external oblique is there. As simple as that. And in exams, they say external oblique aponeurosis is attached to the pubic crest, right? Wrong. You see how? This is how we teach anatomy, how we learn anatomy. Exchange of ideas and playing with ideas from up and down, back and forth. You agree?
Yes.
Good. Crest. Tubercle. Another tubercle on the iliac crest. The only thing I take from this, which is very important, the intertubercular line and plane that will help me to divide the abdomen into line regions. So in the iliac crest I have tubercle, and on the pubic crest I have tubercle. The iliac crest, in fact, is large. You agree? We'll see what also on the iliac crest. Look at the iliac crest. 1, 2, 3 muscles are on the iliac crest. The blue, this when I used to teach in McGill. And this
Blue is external or internal?
this is anterior and this is the back. This, are you following?
Yeah.
The obturator foramen you cannot see. This I should have actually colored it so the bone is broken here. Are you following? So this is symphysis pubis, this is crest ending into tubercle, crest ending into tubercle. Which crest this one is, right or left? Right. And this is left. And this is here, sacrum. Sacrum. Are you following?
Yeah.
So I have here the crest and 1, 2, 3 muscles are here. Which muscle should be here? Transversus?
No.
External oblique. And why is it in blue? Because it is insertion. And this is red. Why? And this is red. Why? Origin. So the two muscles, the master and the vice master, they are taking origin from strong muscle. The player, he's playing. We follow? So what's this here? Pupil tubercle ending into, pupil crest ending into tubercle. I beg your pardon, I made a mistake. This is something called iliopubic eminence. What's it called? What's the iliopubic eminence? In geography or geology or whatever the science is, it's not medicine, so we don't care. When we have, medicine is the best. When we have two continents, why is the best? Because it includes all science. I'm not downgrading any science. Science, any kind of science, are recording good. Any kind of science is standing by its own, except medicine. It includes all. It's art, and art includes all. This eminence is the meeting of two continents, two bones, ilium and pubis, iliopubic eminence. This is the lateral end of the crest. There is something silly, and when I say silly, it is silly, called pectineal line, pectineal extension of the inguinal ligament. The inguinal ligament goes like this, from anterior spherical spine to the tubercle. And from the tubercle, it goes back to the iliopubic eminence in a line. Are you following?
Yes.
Very good. Because you understand it, I might actually get into a higher level of addressing the imagination here. This bone in my body is like this. You see, obturator, and this symphysis pubis, they are like this. Not like this, they are like this. Are you following me? They are horizontal, carrying what? Bladder. Okay, so I have here tubercle and tubercle. Which tubercle? Pubic. And then I go like this by the inguinal ligament, and it goes back. Are you following? Yes. It goes back, a pectineal part of the ligament. I go like this, and it goes back as pectineal part of the ligament. Are you following?
Yeah.
Okay? When I do this, the angle in between is filled with a ligament called lacunar. So when I go like this, lacunar ligament plane, is it perpendicular or is it transverse? Transverse. 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 Okay, I remember that. My teacher, he was the fourth in the world. They said he's the fourth, but he was the first. He used to teach us, you go to anatomy, you want 10 hours of anatomy. 10 hours. As you are sitting now, you want 100 hours. You agree? Okay, good. Okay. This is the CPR. Okay? This is the transverse. This is the transverse. The lacunar. The lacunar. This is symphysis pubis. Lacunar, transverse. And what's going here? What's this? CPR. CPR. And this goes like this, conjoint tendon is perpendicular to lacunar. Rectus. This is conjoint tendon. Conjoint tendon. Pyramidalis rectus. Right rectus. Left rectus. Right pyramidalis. Left pyramidalis. Right conjoint. Left conjoint. Are you following? And here is what? Lacunar. How can you get married if the gallbladder is down?
Gallbladder?
Are you following? Okay, so conjoint tendon is perpendicular to lacunar. The extension. This is the extension of what? This is the pectineal. Are you following?
وش انا بفرط
اوكي طب ماشي pectineal line ويبقى هنا ده اللي هو اللاكيونر هذه المصيبة ماشي What's the muscle here? What's the muscle here?
Which one?
External oblique. Is it a heavy player?
No.
طلع من ribs. Is it going to be connected to the spine? No. Is it going to be connected to the gallbladder? No. So this is the muscle, okay? And this muscle has a fleshy part and apneurotic part. The apneurotic part, can you see this? So this muscle is fleshy. طب حددنا بايه fleshy part of it fleshy and part of it is fibrous. The fibrous part, the fibrous part will help us a lot in the movement of the trunk. Didn't I say there is connection between internal oblique and external oblique from contralateral sides? This movement of the trunk. External oblique, movement of the trunk, خلاص. Internal oblique, movement of the trunk and pressure of the intra-abdomen. External oblique ملهاش دعوة، يخرب بيوتكم روح، ملهاش دعوة. هي بس light player. Are you following? So we have this fleshy part coming from here, inserting there, inserting, fleshy insertion into the crest, and fibrous insertion into the going to the fibrous insertion going into the linea alba. And this very important insertion here, look, here, this fleshy part is free. So I have here a free fleshy part and here a free fibrous part between the anterior spine and the pubic tubercle. And then after the pubic tubercle, I would see that, so this is free between anterior spine. Are you imagining it is free? And here is pubic tubercle. And then after that, I will be free again, leaving the crest and going to the symphysis pubis. Again, we go with the insertion here, the fleshy insertion. The fleshy insertion, hello? The fleshy insertion is here, okay? Here is free border. You agree?
Yes.
And we took the muscles from here and they are inserted here in the outer lip. And from here, it's not fleshy anymore. I have fibrous hanging in air like this, making for me what we call inguinal ligament. From anterior spine into pubic tubercle. Hanging. Are you following? Mm-hmm. And this hanging part is curling in. What's it doing? تحفظ دي زي اسمك curling in. What's doing? Curling in. زي الهم بتاع البنطلون. اما الواحد بيجي فصل بنطلون بتسيب البنطلون من غير ما تعمل كيرلينج ان، هيبقى مسخره. يبقى كيرلينج ان البنطلون لابد يبقى كيرلينج ان. Are you following؟ كيرلينج ان عشان يشيل الكورد، ومش بس يشيل الكورد، الدنيا دي كلها على بعضيها. لما يعمل كيرلينج ان بالطريقه دي، who are the master and the vice master in the abdomen؟ هيدي الانترنال اوبليك والترانسفيرسس اوريجين. يبقى انا عندي البارت اللي هو I got here, this is the curling part, okay? The lateral part is giving origin to, and the medial part is giving rest for spermatic cord. Are you following? So the lateral part is giving origin to two muscles, internal oblique and the medial part is giving rest to spermatic cord. And then after we go, please, after we go to this tubercle, we are going to go up and down like this. If this is curling, this will be curving up. What would be doing? To form for us superficial inguinal ring. To form for us what? Who is going to pass through it? The spermatic cord. Is the insertion going to be attached to the crest of the? Is the insertion of this muscle going to be attached to the crest? No. If it is going to be attached to the crest, it will block the spermatic cord. Yes.
Can we say the inguinal ligament is a continuation of external oblique?
The inguinal ligament is extension of the aponeurosis of the external oblique. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you so much. Let's take the 10 minutes. What time?